music and try to ask you some pivotal questions. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'm here for it all. Let's do it.
All right, bro. Mickey Factz, how you feeling today, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be here.
Hey, man, same here. Pleasure's mine, dude. I was listening to you when I was in college, bro, and now I'm sitting here talking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, the college days. That's a good vibe. That's a good
Yeah.
vibe.
Hey, man, you was part of that blog era. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all was our golden age. You feel what I'm saying?
Man, that means the world to me to hear you say that. Thank you, brother. Seriously, for real. Thank you.
I was 5 in '94, so I couldn't get it all, but I could get '09, I could get 13, I can get 14. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's going on?
Well, Mickey, let's start from the beginning, man. I've been following your social media page, man, and you've been really pushing Pendulum Ink, man. And I wanted to start with give you opportunity to tell us a little bit about what Pendulum Ink is and why is this something that everybody needs to tap into while they can.
Yeah, man. Pendulum Ink is a school for hip hop lyricism. We teach MCs how to be better MCs. We give them the tools to be the better MCs. We also teach content creation. We also teach the music business at our school, and we also teach some portions of battle rap at the school. We have a mental health specialist that teaches every Wednesday, allowing our students to discover themselves through the art of rhyme. And we have a legendary guest that pulls up once a month. And so far we've had Fonte, Inspector Jack, Master Ace, and Corey Guns. And this month we have Sky Zoo teaching. We have Tony Williams teaching a class on songwriting, and we're currently in summer school. So September 1st, we got Twister, and next month is All Women's Month.
Brother, y'all got some heavy hitters in there, man. I was gonna ask you, is this an online university? Is this an online class? Like, how can people consume this?
Yeah, this is an online university. Well, I won't call it a university. It's an online school, and we operate as such, right? And we do our very best to provide this service of hip hop to our students, and they love it. You know, we give them the tools to be better MCs and better businessmen and better people. And I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, we decided to, repurpose it as a school as opposed to a master class, because a master class is 1 to 2 days. We decided to call it a school because it's not a webinar, right? Like, webinar is one course. We have 2 courses running actually 3 courses running concurrently, as well as elective classes. We have student teacher conferences every Friday with our students to ensure that they're okay. We have a mental health specialist on staff. So it feels more like a school as opposed to a webinar or a masterclass.
Yo, it's ironic that, I'm hearing you talk about this, being a school. And, I know, considering how intelligent you are, especially your background as a student, but even up to your college experience, I kind of want to get into that. So I guess I'll start I'm going to come back to that. Let me start from the beginning.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about your school experience. So Mickey, you mind telling us how you settled upon the nickname Mickey Factz?
Absolutely, man. So Mickey Factz comes from Natural Born Killers. A lot of people think it was from like Mickey Mouse. But no, it's actually from Natural Born Killers. The lead character's name was Mickey Knox, and he loved the character named Mallory Knox. So I treat Mallory like hip hop because I love it. Love it so much that I'm willing to sacrifice myself for it, right? So for me, I wanted to take on the name of Mickey. There was nobody at the time with the name of Mickey. There might have been, I think Mickey Halstead. It might have been Mick Jenkins, that they all came, I believe, after, if not at the same time. There was a Mikey, right? Like a Mikey Rocks.
Cool kids.
Really no Mickey. So I was the first Mickey, at least to my knowledge. And then Factz was all I wanted to talk about. So I ended my song with Factz. and now everybody says Factz. So, you know, it's just how the game goes sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna get into your trend setting ways and how everybody took parts of your career to make theirs in a minute. Um, Mickey, what was it like growing up in the Bronx, man? What was your experience like as a Bronx kid, the birthplace of hip hop, and this is the '80s?
You know, the 80s, you know, I didn't really turn 10 until 92. So the 80s was mostly like, you know, school for me and just kind of enjoying, you know, being this intelligent kid who could read and write and do science fair stuff and win science fairs and win spelling bees. And that was me. You know, I was into hip hop, but I was more so academically advanced. Um, I wasn't in the streets at that. I was 8 years old. Come on, we can't get in the streets in the 80s. But the 90s, you know, was a little bit different. I started to be cognizant of what hip hop was. So I dived very, very deep into hip hop after Big Daddy Kane and obviously Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg and Wu-Tang and Biggie and Nas and Pac. So like a lot of that is the golden era for me. And I gravitated towards all of them. And when I went to school at Stevenson High School, I went to school with Remy Ma. I went to school with Drag On. It's the same school that Africa Bambaataa went to. So like it's a lot of rich history there. A lot of people came from that school. And, you know, I'm just happy that I survived that era of hip hop.
Mickey, it's ironic that you mentioned, you know, all the people that you mentioned, especially that you went to school with Remy Ma, and because it makes me wonder, you know, you've always talked very praiseworthy of Big Pun. What Big Pun songs first caught your attention, and are there parts of Big Pun style that you admire to this day and have kind of like been influenced by?
Um, I remember there was this Spanish kid who was friends with me and my boy Earl. Shout out to my man Earl. And I remember we were going to Fordham Road to buy some music, and he was telling us about this guy named Big Pun and how he had a song with, I think it was Raekwon at the time, and he was like, "Yo, Big Pun is going crazy on this record with Raekwon," and I kind of brushed it off. We went to the store. He bought the single. I Ain't a Player, not the
The
remix, the
original.
original.
Yeah.
And on the B side was You Ain't a Killer. And when we was listening, it just his style of rapping was so rapid and visceral. We became fans of Big Pun that very day. And you know, I was in high school when he dropped
Capital Punishment.
yes, and that shook the school up because he's from the Bronx. And you know, at that time, we didn't really have anybody. Like we had Lord Tariq and Peter Guns, but we didn't have anybody like him. So he kind of shook everything up for us because you know we were Locks kids, we were Mace kids. You know that was what it was. We wasn't even really on Jay like that. Jay wasn't on Jay. It was Big, the Locks, Mace, Buster. We was on Buster early. It wasn't really like a J slash
Rockefeller thing just yet.
that didn't exist. Didn't exist. Wasn't there yet. He didn't really hit until like 99 for us because you know that album came out late 98, September 98. So we were on DMX, we were on the Locks. So when Pun dropped a little bit before that J album dropped, so it was Pun that we gravitated to. So shout out to Pun.
Shout out to Pun, definitely. So Mickey, let me ask this then. Like, you know, I looked at to a lot of your interviews. You talked about, you know, you could have skipped first and went straight to third. And then you talked about, of course, your intelligence. You could tell it in your bars. The question that I want to know is, I'm sure that means education was important in your family's house. What made you decide at first to say, okay, well, I'm gonna go to law school and I'm going to choose to go to NYU in particular?
Well, I didn't want to go back to school. I felt that school for me was, I don't want to say it was remedial. It was just it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't interesting. And it's just mind blowing that now I have a school.
Yep. Yep.
But I just I wasn't engaged. I wasn't intrigued. I was very bored. My mother wanted me to go to school because I had quit my job. She felt like me being somebody at the mailroom wasn't enough for someone of my caliber. And you know what? She was right. And I look back on it, she was right. So I went back to school, became a paralegal. Still wasn't enough. She wanted me to be an attorney. So I attempted to go back to school, and I realized that I was doing this for her. It wasn't for me. And once that came to that spot, I was like, okay, I got to drop out of school and I got to become an MC. And that's what I did.
So Mickey, let me ask this. Two questions in one, but what were some of the other jobs you were doing to make ends meet as a paralegal? And then second, what advice, because I've seen interviews, what advice would you give to a creative that's stuck in that same dilemma of school, my dream?
Well, I think I had about 7 jobs before I became an MC. I was a paper boy. I worked at McDonald's. I worked as I tried to sell Cutco knives.
I remember you talking about that.
I tried to sell Kirby vacuums. I tried to sell Primerica. I don't even know what the Primerica stuff is. What is that?
It's insurance, ain't it?
Is it insurance?
I think it's insurance. I don't know. You did all the hustles that they try to get everybody to do with sales, though.
Yeah, I tried to sell Primerica. And yeah, so those are the 5 things. And then I got to some temp agencies. I worked for PC Magazine. I don't even know. Let me see if PC Magazine is still even up.
I think they got a site still. I think they do.
This was like
it had to be early 2000s.
Yeah, PC Games, PC Magazine. Yep, look at that. Had an office on 28th Street in New York City. Yes, PC Mag. Yep. Wow. So I worked for them in their mailroom. Wow. So Ironheart's first trailer dropped, by the way. Yeah, so
good luck.
Shout out to us for being here while Ironheart dropped.
Yeah.
But essentially, I worked all of these odd jobs in the paper in the mailroom. I did mailroom clerk for PC Magazine, and then I got the job that I got at a law firm, and that encouraged me to be a attorney. But it was really my mom. She was like, "Yo, take it all away," and I was like, "I don't know." And I ended up trying to take it all away, and it just wasn't for me. If I'm being honest, it just really wasn't for me.
So what advice, Mickey, would you give to a creative that's stuck in that same dilemma? Because this is a generation that's more and more saying, yo, maybe college isn't for me. What do you say to college or my dream? Is it possible to have both, or how do you feel about it?
I think that having a plan, and if you have a plan with your passion, I'm not mad at you feeling like college is not for you. I think that the world is at our fingertips now. So we can study and do a whole bunch of things and create a whole bunch of opportunities for ourselves. Well, we have to have the mindset to do it, and we have to put our best foot forward. Like I never took a business class. I never took a marketing class, but I know how to market and I know how to create a business. So that's just due to, asking around, as well as, I would say asking around as well as researching on my own. And, you know, I was a business at first, like Mickey Factz and GFC New York. That was the first business I ever created, you know, and that was in 2007. So, you know, I've been a successful business owner for a very long time. And for me, you know, I just in general, right? Like, I think that college isn't for everyone. People learn different things in different spaces. I feel like if you have a plan, college should be for you. If you want to be a doctor, you want to be a specific, if you have a specific trade that you can only get through college, you should do that. Aside from that, I would say interning and researching is the best way to, you know, garner success, as well as investing. You know, investing and making smart plays, you can do some grandiose things.
Okay. Okay. Side question. GFC. What does that stand for?
GFC stands for God, Family, and Culture.
And that was your first original label, brand, company, all that, right?
Yeah, it was my first, you know, it was a marketing firm that acted as a label, and it acted as my brand. You know, that was the first business I ever started.
So Mickey, did you start that business after you quit your job?
Yes.
Question. So you quit your job, man. When you quit your job, I was just starting college, and this is pandemic, or not pandemic, sorry. This was the recession, right before the Great Recession. And you started rapping. This is right around when you dropped, you know, In Search of NERD. So you're rapping, you have a label, and it's the middle of the beginning of the recession, and now you have to find a way to fend for yourself. How were you able to kind of survive the onslaught of that in the beginning?
It was tough, bro. I mean, a lot of it was, you know, I got a lot of help from a lot of different people, a lot of different friends and men and women alike. I slept on a lot of couches. I slept on a lot of futons. I slept on a lot of floors. You know, I snuck and showered at people's houses. I snuck in people's refrigerators. You know, people looked out, and it got me to where I am today. You know, and I feel like I built a team around me that were creatives just as me. So even though I didn't have any money, I had a stylist. So I was always fly, no matter what.
You were.
I had an A&R, so he always knew what the next sound was going to be. I had a super creative manager whose marketing thought processes was far beyond everybody that was out there at the time. I had a producer, Precise, who now goes by HL. He was ahead of the curve production-wise. And then, you know, I also had a booking agent. I also had an attorney. These are all people on my team. I built this whole team out, and we took the game by storm. I had a graphic designer who was learning Photoshop before a lot of people were. So we were just creating and crafting effortless things and operating like a label without the capital. It was unbelievable.
Bro, a lot of what y'all were doing was really unbelievable, dog. Y'all tapped into something. I say y'all to say everybody in that era, but y'all tapped into what the labels didn't tap into for years till after y'all. So first off, kudos to you in particular, but definitely to what the movement you represented.
So you see this.
Oh, of course I remember that. Yeah, of course I remember that.
I had an interview last night, and in that cover, somebody said, Mickey, you were the only one on that cover that didn't have a cosign. Everybody on that cover had a cosign.
You're 100% right. Damn.
Wale had Mark Ronson.
Yeah, he did.
B.O.B. had T.I.
Yep.
Charles Hamilton was co-signed by Ye and Interscope.
Yep. Interscope was behind him.
Asher Roth had Canon and Drama.
Currency had, what is it, Wayne? Or he had just left Wayne?
Yeah, just left Wayne.
But he just left Wayne. Asher had a deal with
SRC, and he had Drama and Canon.
That's right.
Corey was signed to Wayne.
Wayne, yeah.
Blue, he had put out
Below the Heavens.
The Heavens, and that was
That
Cosigns.
was it, yeah. The whole industry was on that.
Ace Hood had Khaled.
Yeah, he did. In the heated Khaled.
Cuddy had Yay.
Yay.
I'm the only one on there with no cosign, bro.
Damn. And that's never really been acknowledged enough, dude. Like, damn.
No cosign, bro.
Damn. Say that, Jim, because I got to run back to that because we're gonna talk about your steeds and how that built the prototype for others. But I wanted to ask this then, man. So we talked about how you were kind of able to do all these things by yourself because you had like your own team. So then let me ask this deal. How did you get the brand deal with Honda, and what made you decide to say, well, I'm gonna just, because this is in the middle of everybody getting money and stunting, and you said, I'm gonna take a brand deal with Honda and I'm gonna be whipping a Honda. Like, what made you get that, or how did you get that deal, and what made you choose Honda?
The day of the double XL freshman shoot, Rich Nice came up to me and said, there is a photo shoot happening. There's a auditioning happening for Honda Accord for their spokesperson. They want a rapper. So he was like, you should go down there. So I went down there and I knocked it out the park. I didn't have, the same way I am today was the same way I was in 2008. I was just super fly, but I didn't have any jewelry on. And I was intelligent. So I went in there and I knocked it out the park because that's what the Honda is. The Honda stands the test of time. The Honda's not flashy. It gets the job done. And that's what I represented. So they said, you align with our brand. And it's been, I did 2 commercials with them. I represented for the 2009 Accord and the 2010 Accord.
How did the Honda deal affect your career?
It was a great deal. I'm glad that I did it. It got me in front of a lot of different people's faces. I think it shocked a lot of people. It was right on the heels of the XXL cover, freshman magazine cover. It was great. That was my first big money. I made about $100,000 off that.
Damn. And
then the second one, I did about another 150, 200, and they gave me a free car.
We really won. Man, I remember that commercial, and just in general, I was like, damn, we really got a class of rappers, and a rapper in particular, like, yeah, I got a 9 to 5, but I still spit. And it was, for me, that was genre defining, because people really wasn't trying to say they had 9 to 5s, but could rap.
Right.
Everybody was like, nah, bro, I don't got no 9 to 5. I rap, I got a label, I got a check. But it was like, nah, I spit really well, but I got a 9 to 5. I felt like that changed the conversations around rap. I just wanted to say that because I remember that in college. Like, damn, homie actually has a job. Like, oh shit, like it's maybe okay for rappers to have a job and do that. So
yeah. It was a great situation, man. Like Honda shooting a commercial and having my name on the back of a seat, having my trailer, having a makeup artist, all of that's dope. I'm still in shock that happened to me, because I would have never thought that would have happened for me.
So Mickey, let me ask this then. Was that your first I made it moment? Was it the XXL shoot? Was it Honda? Like, when did you first say, yo, I might have made it?
That is an excellent question. I feel like it's so much. I would have to say seeing my video on MTV.
Which one?
Rocking and Rolling. With the cool kids. I think that was the one. I think getting on MTV and on MTV Jams, that joint got to number 2 on MTV Jams. I think without a label, that was monstrous for me at the time. Even before that, my first show ever headlining was in China. I didn't feel like that was, I don't feel like that was I'm here moment. I was in the Fader magazine. I was in Spin. I was in the table of contents for Spin. But none of that. I think the first I made it moment was MTV.
Dude, MTV Jams, like I missed that because, like I said, once we was in college, dog, while you was on MTV Jams, I was sitting in the caf, and every video that was on MTV Jams was just the shit we was watching, and it was always people. Dude, I was in rural Georgia, but I knew rap, so I'd be looking at the screen like, oh, Consequence video just came across the screen. My homies may not know who the fuck that is, or Mickey Factz and the Cool Kids, and we had a couple of people that might have known who they was, but I was like, damn, good look, MTV Jam still playing some shit that that I would listen to. You know what I'm saying? So my
Bro.
bad, I just had to throw that in. So Mickey, let me ask this then, man. You had the 2009 Double XL cover, and it's just regarded as one of the iconic covers. What was, when you were on set for the shoot, what were some of the thoughts that were kind of going through your mind when you looked at your peers, you looked at the setup, you looked at the work that you had been putting in the years before then? Like, what were your thoughts?
Why isn't Wale talking to me? Why is Cuddy not talking to me? Why is Charles playing both sides with them and me? Why is Blue so quiet and by himself? I can't believe I'm here. This is amazing. Oh shit, Corey, this is my only friend here apparently. Asha was cool too. Asha, Corey was cool with me. And
Currency.
Oh yeah, Currency, love that was my brother. He's always my brother. So Currency, Currency, Corey at the time, Currency, Corey, and Asher and B.O.B. They showed me the most love there. I had a relationship with Cuddy, but he felt the way about a record I did. Same thing with Wale.
I understand.
And I don't remember ever interacting with Ace Hood. And I don't ever remember. Yeah, I don't remember interacting with Ace Hood. And Blue was just quiet. He was just really quiet.
So what's funny? I heard you talking about the photo shoot, and in an interview you talked about how y'all kind of set the precedent for not only just the shoots but also the artists that came afterwards. And so that brings me to, I guess, the question. You were always known for being fashion forward, good with lyrics, and that makes me wonder then, when you look back at that blog era, what do you think are the biggest lessons that you learned from that moment in time?
I shouldn't have stopped putting music out. I was arrogant. So we stopped putting music out because people was copying what I was doing. People saw my success and people wanted to be like me. And I shouldn't have stopped. That's the first thing. Second thing, we should have sold music. We should have did a deal immediately. If I would have done a deal, I would have probably been where Currency is right now. I should have kept putting out music. Me not putting out music, me not working with like Dame Dash and things like that, that hurt me.
You could have worked with Dame in Creative Control?
Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad, bro. But damn.
So the first time Dame met Currency and Wiz
was that the shoot?
It was me. He met me, Currency, Wiz, and Stolly all at the same time. And I was the one that didn't work with Dame. I was the one MC who didn't work with Dame.
Bro, you would have been out of there.
Yeah, because even Smoke Dizza like built the name off of that. Like a lot of people built the name off of that, and I just kind of went my own direction. But I feel like those are the biggest missteps. Was not putting out music every week. Was also not getting a deal immediately and putting something out independently. I really felt that music was going to be free at some point, and I was right. It's just that we didn't know the plan of what it was going to be. but those were my biggest missteps. Those were the biggest missteps that I made. If I could go back, I would tell myself, keep putting the music out and do a deal with somebody. Do a deal with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is, just so you could sell content. You got to sell the content. And then I would have kept, if we would have kept that momentum up, I would probably be like where Currency is right now, or even bigger.
Mickey, let me ask that then. So the song of week strategy, that's what got you to the double XL shoot, right?
Yes.
Where did that strategy come from? That's just you and your team, or was that something you saw with someone else doing before you?
So this is how the story goes. Crooked Eye did it in July of 2007. Freestyle. He put a freestyle out in 2007 in July, every week.
I used to listen.
So we put out a song on January 1st. My A&R put out a song. He was like, yo, we need to put out a song to start the new year. I said, okay. I gave him a song. I was sitting on about 40 songs. I said, here. Gave him a song, didn't think nothing of it. Second week goes by. He's like, yo, we need another song. And I'm like, we need another song? What are you talking about? Yeah, I want to put out another record. It's a new week. We need new music. And I kind of brushed it off. Well, this is on Everything I Love. I was like, all right, whatever. Gave him the next record. So it was All Right. I think it was Me and the Nucks. The first record we put out was Me and the Nucks. Hey, yo. Then we put out Light. Then we put out It's Mickey. And that was another, he wanted another record. This is the third week of January. And it was all going on my MySpace page. We got to the fourth record. I forgot what that fourth record was. And then we got to February and he was like, yo, we need another record. And that's when I was like, yo, what are you doing? I don't want to put out any more records. I think it was Pumpin' was number 4. Number 5 was, I think it was Robot Rock. And that was the first time I recorded for the leak. We extended it because there was on Heaven's Fallout. So we extended it and I just rapped longer on it. And then I gave that to him and we put it out. That same week that we put out the 5th one, we recorded with Knowledge from Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
And and mind you, as we're putting out a song a week, I'm like, yo, I don't want to copy Crooked Eye. I said this. And my A&R said, you're not copying him. He's putting out freestyles. You're putting out songs a week. It's different. So he changed my mindset. So we put out so I diss SK from Nah Right on the record with Knowledge. This is the 6th week. This is the middle of February. So I diss SK and he posts on Nah Right. And that changed everything. I do another record with Theophilus London. And then I dissed Nah Right again. And after I dissed him again, I was a mainstay on Nah Right and every other single blog from then on. Then in February, you got to remember in January, I did the song with the Cool Kids and shot the video. That video came out the following month. So I'm putting out a song a week. Then I got the video with the Cool Kids. And then I'm doing shows and it was spiraled. It spiraled. Fader picked it up. Everybody started picking it up. And it was unbelievable. Like it was a shift in the music industry.
Mickey, you brought some stuff to the light. I need you to, I want to ask you about the impact of the blogs. Then I want to ask you about the Jive deal and then RCA, but let's start with the blogs. So who were some of the big blogs that kind of paid attention to your brand and how important were the bloggers in that time?
Oh man, Different Kitchen was the first blog that ever posted.
I heard of that.
The guy who was on that blog was a guy named Ian Steeman, and he worked at Jive Records.
Oh.
And he posted me on his blog. And that was the first blog I ever made. But the ones that made noise, all hip hop DX, Nah Right, Two Dope Boys, On Smash, Perfection, Fader, the Fader blog. I was on the Fader blog all the time. I made Complex a couple times. I made Spin Magazine blog a couple times. Yeah. Any other, those were the big ones. As long as you made those blogs, you got the downloads, you got the press.
So Mickey, how important were the blogs in that time?
That they were the DJs. If you were a new artist and you weren't on the blogs, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do. So best of both offices, all of those people. Like if you were not on the blogs, you were not popping.
Yep. So Mickey, let's ask this question then. Was it the dude who worked for Different Kitchen that was able to get you to deal with Jive?
No, that was Jeff Sledge. My stylist brung In Search of the NERD to Jeff Sledge in 2006. I had a dinner meeting with him, and he didn't tell me he was going to sign me. He just said, "Yo, keep up the good work." He A&R'd the song, the Super Song, with me when we came home from China. And then he just watched. He just continued to watch me bubble. He watched. He kept an eye on me as I was bubbling. I did the Honda commercial. I had the cover. I was on a tour. And then I came back in 2010 with new music, and he felt that I was ready. And that's when he did the deal with me.
So you got the deal with Jive, and then immediately after Jive, after you got the deal, they folded?
They folded in 2011. So I signed in 2010. They folded the following year. Yeah, it was a tough time.
So you got the RCA. What was it about RCA that I guess didn't translate into success? Was it they didn't have the right A&Rs? Was it too many artists? Like, what was it that you felt like, being political as possible, of course, because we ain't shitting on nobody, but I'm just being honest. Like, what happened with RCA? Because after that, you took a hiatus from music. You kind of look like you kind of lost your love for it for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you sign a deal, and the label has big plans for you, and then the label folds. And now it's like, well, what next? You get moved to another label. And there were people who got dropped. So I was grateful to get moved to another label. And RCA just had a different team. It was a different team than what I was accustomed to. And they didn't believe in me. So I had to leave. That's what happened. That's the literal truth. And we had big records. They just couldn't pull the trigger on these big records.
Mickey, what got you back into rap? Was it purely financial? What was it that made you say, you know what, I stopped, but I'm gonna get right back into this?
It was purely financial. Like, I couldn't get a job anywhere else. Like, you gotta remember, I left in 2007. So now this is 2014. I didn't have any job experience. So I had to, put out content. And I quit after, doing my control response, went viral. I always put out one record that always hits people real hard. So the 2013 record was Control, the control response. And then I stopped making music. And then I pulled back up the following year, 2014, because I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get no money. And on my birthday, I released 740 Park Avenue, where I rapped as Malcolm X. Detroit Red, that was the record. That and 414 were two big records that I put out that year.
I think you just had anniversaries for those records too, man. Salute to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what happened after that.
Okay. Mickey, you know, man, you know what it's like being an MC. You've done it all. You've rapped, you stepped in the battle arena. You've kind of had to maneuver through a lot of like tense moments in your career. Like, how have you been able to kind of be competitive, but blend the line between being competitive and getting into conflict? Like, how do you weave that line? Like, because you've battle rap, dude. You stepped in the ring, not even on a battle tip, but you've asserted that you're the best and rap is competitive. Like, how have you managed to kind of maneuver through all the conflict in rap and stay who you are?
It's tough, man, because conflict is pretty part of course, sometimes in hip hop, and people take offense to it when it's really just entertainment. Sometimes the lines get blurred, and for me, I don't feel like the lines get blurred. You just respond back with another record. But some MCs, don't feel it the same way about it. And battle rap has given me that fortitude to stand the test of time and match wits with some of the best. So I'm appreciative of battle rap in that space.
Mickey, what advice would you give to rappers coming into the game to maneuver through that? To tell them like, look, yo, this is the way to still be dominant and competitive without putting yourself in a dangerous situation. Like, what would you give advice? How would you advise a young rapper?
I would say, I would tell people to just just show love to everybody. Be as positive as possible. Look to help people out as much as you can. Do favors for people. Sometimes just overextend yourself at some points, because when you start being standoffish and having drama and having it just makes it difficult for you to move around and get jiggy. So that would be my advice.
Okay. Mickey, you dropped a lot of projects. You've been out, for a long time, which is a blessing to do in this industry, man. But I'll be real honest with you, man. My favorite projects, to be real with you, other than In Search of NERD, is the project you dedicated to your son. And I wanted to ask you, what was it about having a son that made you choose to go in the direction that you did?
Having a child brings forth the thoughts of mortality. And I got afraid that something might happen to me as a Black man. So I wanted to create a project that revolved around my love for him, so that he knows that I'll forever be with him in that space. I'll help him and guide him to be a better person and a better man through hip hop. And, even just now talking about it now, like I'm 40 and he's 2. So when he's 22, I'll be hopefully 60.
Yeah, 60, yeah.
So, which is crazy to even think. And when he's 30, I'll be 70. So, I want to be able to guide him properly. And if something were to ever happen to me, he could always go back to that project and know exactly what to do, and listen to me, tell him how to be proud of his heritage, his name, how to be proud of his skin, what to do with the police, how to interact with women, how to handle his finances, what his spirituality looked like for him, integrity, religion, and then obviously, care for his mom, and then obviously my feelings for him. I think when he finally hears the project, when he gets of age, I think it's going to be mind-blowing for him. I don't think he's going to really understand it now when he's young, but when he gets of age, his mind is going to be blown. And if I'm not here, he's probably going to have a breakdown listening to that.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's a lot of heartfelt records on there. Chin Up, The Altar, just everything on there is, like I said, it's an open letter to him.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes me wonder, man, between that, the Black History Project, that you dropped, and even the narrative, like the tone of your music has changed, as it should, from what it was like 15 years ago. So the question I want to know is, like, at this point in your career, what's the goal when you release music?
Now it's to have a conscious mindset of what is being consumed by the people. I do know that, my next couple projects are going to be themed around specific topics and stuff like that, like creative projects. It's just a matter of, getting them out. I got a project with Crisis. That's a theme project. Just waiting for that to come out. I'm working on something with Pete Rock. Something with this guy named Ayo Shamir. I might be doing something with him. D-Ski. I'm doing something with him. It's a lot of music that I'm creating, but I'm so focused on the school, it's a little tough to do everything at the same time. So, but I'm trying my best. I really am trying my best, to create as much content as I can for the people to gravitate to and be inspired by. Like that. That's what means the most to me when it comes to, the content. Because, since In Search of the NERD all the way up to, Black History with Factz, it's just been, you can hear the quality, you can hear the elevation.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm gonna go back to Black History with Factz because you mentioned the projects. What can people expect to get from you this year? If you can tell us, are there some songs that we can expect to hear? Are there projects that we can expect to hear this year? Like, can you give us a nugget?
I've been dropping a song every month, just to kind of give the people, it hasn't really caught on too tough, but, just to be out there. But my focus is on the school. I mean, I do have a project called Incognito that I really do want to get out before the year is out. I might also put out something, like a diary kind of record album that I could kind of write very quickly, with no hooks, just going off 3 minutes at a time. We'll see. I don't know. But I am, moving in the space of creating content that is epic. So I'm working on some stuff.
I got you. Now, I appreciate you even dropping that nugget. You know what I'm saying? Mickey, I'm not gonna take up too much more of your time. I got a couple more, and I'm gonna let you. I know you got stuff to do. You got class, but I was gonna ask, with the Black History with Factz, what's been the response to it?
Well, it was a project that dropped. It was a project that I did daily. So I wrote the verses daily and put them on IG. And then I re-recorded them and put them on DSPs. It was for Black History Month. And the response, I went viral twice for 2 of them. But people loved it. People thought it was incredible.
What inspired you to do it? So was it just for the sake of Black History Month, just dropping content?
That's the main reason why I did it. Just cause. Yeah.
Mickey, this is like one of my final questions for you. And it's probably a crazy one, but it's just real. If someone is listening to this for the first time and doesn't know who you are, what would you tell them they can expect to get from hearing your music?
Oh, I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to shock you. I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to, pull at your heartstrings. I'm going to relate to you. You're going to get so much out of everything that I provide. And I think it's essential that I keep, giving the people that content.
Mickey, how can people stay in contact with you or connect with you?
Yeah, man, hit me up, MickeyFactz.com, pendulumink.com. Follow me on Instagram, MICKEY.FACTZ, twitter.com/MickeyFactz, and Facebook.com/official Mickey Factz.